Hello and welcome to Botanists in Paradise. My name is Nolan and today I'm on Whidbey Island. You can tell because of the lovely jet noise in the background. But I came here today because this is one of the first places in Western Washington where spring wildflowers start to pop out. And this is a really cool habitat we're in called a coastal bald, which is similar to the prairies that used to be a lot more common in Western Washington. But the main difference between a bald and a prairie is that balds occur on these really steep slopes. See, we're on a little bit of a cliff here. And they also have really shallow soils compared to a prairie. The bedrock is poking out in a lot of places here. And the shallow soils prevent tree encroachment, which is a big problem in the prairies here. And so without any shade, there's not even any shrubs really on this slope. And with the shallow soils, this ends up being the hottest, driest habitat that you get in Western Washington. And so because of this, all the plants that grow here, they have to bloom really early in the season when there's still a lot of spring rain. A lot of them are really tiny too, to conserve water and stay out of the sun. And coastal balds they're really cool too because they have a lot of plant species that don't grow anywhere else in Washington. And proportional to the surrounding forests, they have way higher diversity of plant species. And so today, you can see there's a lot blooming, way more than I thought. This whole hillside is covered in this reindeer lichen, probably in the genus Cladonia here. And this stuff already just feels like it's dried to a crisp, you know? It's been a pretty rainy spring, but this area just dries out so fast. It'll be toast in another couple weeks. All right, so another one of the most common plants out here is this Lomatium utriculatum with the yellow flowers here. And this is called desert foothill parsley. It's in the Apiaceae, the carrot family, or the parsley family. And like a lot of carrots and members of that family, it's really aromatic, kind of spicy and pleasant. It's got these little highly dissected leaves, kind of feathery. They smell real nice when crushed up. Got a big edible taproot on this thing. I won't dig it up, but it's a pretty cool water-saving feature of this plant. And then one of the coolest plants that I found out here today that I definitely didn't think we'd see, I definitely didn't think we'd see this much of it, is this Aphyllon purpureum here. Or Aphyllon uniflora, which is in the Orobanchaceae family, a family of plant parasites. And you can see because of their parasitic habit, this species is really a highly reduced plant. It doesn't have any leaves or anything. It's just got these single stems that go up to a single flower and a couple little acuminate sepals on there. And it doesn't have any green parts on the plant at all because it's totally parasitic. I don't know what it could be parasitizing out here today. I know that some of the other members parasitize Asteraceae. There's a little woolly sunflower out here, but I don't see. Oh, there it is. Eriophyllum lanatum, not in bloom, but that could be what the Aphyllon is snacking on. And yeah, like I said, a lot of the plants out here are really tiny because they just have such a short growing season. And so one of the cool miniature plants out here is this, if I can get it in focus, this Trifolium microdon in the Fabaceae. It's a clover. Trifolium is the clover genus, and it's pretty similar looking at first glance to, you know, a clover you might see in your yard, but it's got these really cool elongated flowers and kind of spiny little leaves, if you can see that. And yeah, this is a little native clover to Western Washington that thrives in coastal balds and prairies. Beautiful. Another cool plant just within arm's reach here is this Toxicoscordion venenosum, which is meadow death camas. And it looks a lot like a lily. It's pretty closely related with these grass-like leaves, and if you look at the flowers, you can see it's got 6 tepals. So the petals and the sepals both have similar appearance. It's got these big yellow nectar glands down at the base of each tepal. Really good for pollinators. Not so good for people. You might be able to tell by the name Death Camas or Toxicoscordion that this plant is very poisonous, fatally poisonous. Definitely don't want to confuse that with the edible bulb camas that also grows out here, but we're a little early for that one. It's not in bloom yet, but there's a ton of sedum spathulifolia here. This really bright, colorful succulent growing on the rocks. And it just looks kind of bizarre, kind of extraterrestrial with its really bright colors. Okay, so even though this is such a dry habitat here, when it rains a lot in the early spring, the water gets funneled into these little seeps through the bedrock, and you get some really cool plants in here. This one is even wet enough that there's a little fern trying to grow in here. Little licorice fern, Polypodium glycyrrhiza. Oh, see if I can show it to you without shading it. There it is. Licorice fern here. And doesn't look like it's thriving, but it's trying. This little seep is also full of Selaginella wallacei, which doesn't really look it, but it's a fern relative, a lycophyte. So it's a spore-bearing plant, like ferns. Doesn't produce fruits or flowers. It loves this little seep though. It's huge. Got a few different mosses. A little saxifragaceae here. Micranthes integrifolia. Pretty cute little capitate heads, little clusters of flowers on a top of a long stem. And yeah, the theme of the day is definitely tiny plants. This one is one of my all-time favorites over here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. Mimulus alicinoides, the seep monkey flower. And it's pretty characteristic with this distinctive red dot on the lower petal. I'll just show you for scale. There's my thumb. And there's just one little monkey flower growing in this seep. Pretty cool. And we're still in the seep here, and we have what might be the smallest flower of the day so far. This is a plectridis, or a sea blush. Loves the coastal balds. I think it's Plectridis congesta. Not 100% sure. But it's got these really tiny little bilaterally symmetric flowers. See the anthers stick out a little bit. It's in the Caprifoliaceae family. And it's just, these are the only ones I've seen so far today. Just 4 or 5 of them growing at the bottom of this seep. A few others right there.